Okay, section 1.3, applications to geometry and literal equations. So example 1 says the length of a rectangular corral is 2 feet more than 3 times the width. The corral is situated such that one of its shorter sides is adjacent to a barn and does not require fencing. If the total amount of fencing is 774 feet, then find the dimensions of the corral. So first thing, let's see what they've given us. They told you that the length is 2 feet more than 3 times the width. Says one of its shorter sides is adjacent, so it does not require fencing. And they told you the total amount is 774. So in order to start a problem like this, first thing we want to do, we want to sketch a picture. So imagine this being the barn. It's a rough sketch. You have a fence that goes out. And it said that the shortest side, so one of the short sides, is next to the barn, so it does not require fencing. So this is a side that does not need fencing. And it says that the length is 2 more than 3 times the width. So the length is 2 more than 3 times width. So first thing we need to know is that the width, in this instance, is going to be represented by x. So the width is x. The length, they told you it's 2 more than 3 times width, but they use the phrase more than. More than means that what came first comes second, what comes second comes first. So instead of writing 2 plus 3x, we're going to write 3x plus 2. Because it's 3 times the width, and the width is x, so that's where it comes from. So now, because they want to know distance all the way around, that's what they're telling you. That is a perimeter situation. Remember, perimeter is you add all sides. So we're going to say this piece is 3x plus 2, and this side is 3x plus 2. And we have x, so we're going to say 3x plus 2 plus an x plus a 3x plus a 2. There's side 1, side 2, side 3, and it's equal to 774. So next rule, remember, combine your like terms. So I see 3x plus another x is 4, plus another 3 is 7x. $2 plus another 2 is $4, equaling your 774. We're going to solve for x. We're going to subtract, crossing that bridge, subtract 4 over, so you get 7x equals 770. Divide both sides by 7, so x equals, well, 7 goes into 7, 1, 0, so 110. Remember, x is the width. It said it wanted the dimensions. Well, width equals x, which equals 110 feet. Length is 3x plus 2. So 3 times 110 plus 2. So 330 plus 2. 332 feet per side length. So this side of the fence is 332 feet. This piece of the length is 110 feet, and this side of the fence, which should be the same, is 332. Example 2 says 2 angles are complementary. One angle measures 10 degrees, less than 4 times the other angle. Find the measure of the angle. First thing, complementary angles and supplementary angles. Remember, complementary angles, they add to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles add to 180 degrees. So for this problem, it's saying we have 2 complementary angles. One is 10 less than 4 times the other. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees. We're going to identify angle 1 as x. Angle 2 is, they tell you, 10 less than 4 times the other. So 4x minus 10 because it's 4 times angle 1 minus 10. So we'll substitute in here. Angle 1 was x, angle 2 is 4x minus 10 equaling 90. Combine your like terms, we get 5x minus 10 equaling 90. We're gonna add 10 over. 5x equals 100. Divide by 5. So x equals 20. And it wanted the measures of the angles. Well, angle 1 is x, so that is 20 degrees. Angle 2 is 4x minus 10, so 4 times 20 minus 10. 80 minus 10, which is 70. Literal equations contain several variables. Think of formulas to find volume, area, distance, etc. Those of you that have had physics, think of those physics formulas you had. They had 2 different variables involved minimum. So example 3 says, Buckingham Fountain is one of Chicago's most familiar landmarks. With 133 jets spraying a total of 14,000 gallons of water per minute, Buckingham Fountain is one of the world's largest fountains. The circumference of the fountain is approximately 880 feet. Okay, so let's look at what they gave us logistically. I really don't care that it's talking about Buckingham Fountain. I'm looking at specific things that pertain to math. It says 133 jets, it's got a quantity amount. 14,000 gallons of water per minute, that's a rate of how much water is being going out. But then they tell you something, it says the circumference of the fountain is approximately 880 feet. Circumference is 880 feet. We know circumference. So it says the circumference of a circle is given by the formula, circumference equals 2 pi r. They want us to re-image this formula using literal equations, because this is what it's called, and solve for the equation for the letter r. So you're going to take your equation, and I'm going to do a mirror image because I want the r to be on the left side. So now I'm reading it as 2 pi r equaling c. And the reason I did this, it makes it easier for you and the individuals that are visual learners how to get r by itself. Since I want r by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. So now r is equivalent to c, which is circumference, divided by 2 pi. There is our new formula. Using that formula now, it says use the equation from part A to find the radius and diameter of the fountain. So they gave us 2 words, radius and diameter. Radius we know. They gave us a formula. Remember, radius is the diameter divided by 2. The diameter is always going to be twice the radius. So we take our new formula, r is equal to c over 2 pi. And then let's what they tell us. They says use 3.14 for pi and then round to the nearest foot. If they tell you to round, make sure you're paying attention to which unit you're rounding to. So they told us circumference. They said the circumference was 880. So we have 880 over 2 times 3.14. I'm going to do the math on the bottom. 880 divided by 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. And then we are going to take our calculator and do 880 divided by 6.28 and result in 140.13. I went to the hundreds place, but then it said to the nearest foot, which means I'm dropping my 0.13, so we have 140 feet. That is your radius. So we know our radius. Now diameter. So we know our radius is equal to 140 feet. Diameter is 2 times your radius. So 2 times 140, which is 280 feet. Example 4, it says the formula to find the area of a trapezoid is given by A equal to 1/2, parentheses, B sub 1 plus B sub 2, close the parentheses, times H, where B sub 1 and B sub 2 are the lengths of the parallel sides and H is the height. Solve the formula for B sub 1. Okay, so they gave us a formula and they want you to solve for B sub 1. So I gave you a sketch of what a trapezoid looks like. So base 1 and base 2 are your parallel sides. These are the parallel sides, and then the height. You'll know it's a height because it has a 90-degree mark always in the corner. So we're going to take our original equation. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I want to get rid of this 1/2. Because it's a fraction, it's joined by multiplication here. I'm going to multiply the left and right side by 2. So now we become 2a equaling the halves and the 2 cancel. You have the parentheses b1 plus b2 times the height. Now, because I want the b1 to be here, I'm going to do what I did on the last example, and I'm going to do a mirror image. So I have b1 plus b2 with h equaling 2a. The parentheses needs to be isolated because I need to isolate the b1. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by h to both sides. So now I see b1 plus b2 equaling 2 times the area over h. Now it said, remember, we're solving for b1. So b1, I want to isolate by itself. And since it's joined to b2 by a plus, I'm crossing that bridge, I'm going to subtract it over. Subtracting b sub 2 over, so b sub 1 is equivalent to 2 times area over h minus b sub 2. The b sub 2 is being subtracted. So if you were putting this in a calculator, I would suggest parentheses around the 2a over h before you do subtraction portion. Example 5, it says you're given negative 2x plus 3y equaling 5, solve for y. So back in your Algebra 1 days, remember this looks like you're solving for y equals mx plus b. So basically that's what we're doing. So we have our original equation. You want to isolate your y, so you're going to add the 2x over. So now we see 3y equals positive 2x, positive 5. Then you're dividing every piece by 3. So y is equivalent to 2/3 x plus 5/3.